I'm not sure.
Okay.
We good now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you all for coming, showing an interest in our city. And the first item on the agenda is a consent agenda, which is minutes of our regular meeting of October 7th. So I hope everybody's had a chance to go over those. If you have any deletions, corrections, or additions, please say so now. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Commissioner Langston made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Hoffman. Any discussion from the board about the minutes? Anybody from the public? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0. The first item of business is the planning board recommendation. Jim, if you want to lead us in that.
Yes, sir. The last planning board meeting, ordinance 624 did come before the planning board in reference to a small scale plan amendment. This is for L&A hotel properties. This will be the first step in the process to further development of the hotel complex. This would be a land use change to change it currently from the public use, from the church attic to commercial. Mr. Ray Greer is here today, as well as the developers are here for any questions that you may have.
Okay. Ray, would you mind coming up and explaining what we're doing?
Good afternoon. I'm Ray Greer. My address is 2910 Cary Ford Parkway, Tallahassee, Florida. So what we have is a future land use change and a rezoning in front of you today. This is going from public use to commercial. As Jim had mentioned, this property has historically been used as a church, was the former First Baptist Church, and has since been sold. The new owner currently wants to develop it as a commercial development, and therefore we have in front of you the land use change and zoning to change this to commercial today.
Okay. Right. Any questions from the board? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve, which the planning board did approve it unanimously. So
For first reading.
entertain a motion for the first reading of ordinance 624. All right, Commissioner Lowry made the motion. There a second? Second by Commissioner Langston. Any further discussion from the board? Anybody from the public? Please come up, state your name, sign in.
Christy McElroy, just a little curious, what is going to happen with the holding pond that the city already has? If you move forward, if this development moves forward, so because the other property is Florida Forever property that was purchased through DP. So if you could just help me with that, it's so good
Yeah,
to see.
we don't have a development order
Okay,
from them yet, and that'll all take place when we get it. Public, be well aware. Jim, if you want to talk about that, or basically that's what it is.
Yes, sir, that will be part of the development request. At that point in time, they will make a determination as to where the stormwater will be treated at. We haven't got that application back yet, determination of how that can be done, but at this point in time, we're waiting for that to be done.
okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0.
Ordinance number 624, an ordinance amending the comprehensive plan feature land use map of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida, by and through procedures required for small scale map amendments pursuant to authority under state statute section 163.3187, specifically changing parcel ID number 04707-000R from public use to commercial, providing for the amendment of the zoning map of the city of Port St. Joe from public use PU to commercial C1, and providing for repeal of any conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
And so the second reading and adoption will take place at our next meeting, first meeting in November. So
We can get that.
wish you luck, Mr. Duran, and thank you for everything. So we'll move on now. Naturally, you don't have to stay for this whole whole meeting, so you're quite welcome. All righty, Mr. City Attorney, you're next up.
Yeah, I have a couple things on the agenda, Mayor. First one is Resolution 2025-15, and it's a FDOT, it deals with FDOT temporary road closure for paving. Jim, you better explain exactly what it is.
Both of these resolutions are dealing with the Highway 98 repaving that's going to take place at the first of the year. The first one is in reference to a temporary road closure where we will have to reroute traffic. You'll probably see it at two different times. One with the city doing the sewer project, but this specifically is in reference to the paving itself. On there, there'll be rerouting of traffic during the paving.
And we do not know at this time what length of time things will be closed.
We got
Based
the
on-
estimates with those.
Based
But
on
as
weather.
we get closer in that timeframe, we'll definitely take the word out.
Okay, but this is a requirement now from the state.
Yeah.
Even though we'd already know about it, voted on it, everything.
The state now is requiring, or FDOT specifically, for pretty much all the business we're doing, they want it solidified in the form of a resolution. I guess they want to make sure all the boards, when they're doing business within a community, all the board members.
Okay? All right.
I've got one thing, just to then inform the public, will they be putting up some kind of flashing sign beforehand stating,
There will, yes, sir, there will be.
You know, weeks ahead, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I got you.
yeah,
We'll go, sure.
okay.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for resolution, 2025-15, which is the temporary road closure of basically Monument Avenue from Methodist Church to the Tapper Bridge right at the base of, Highland. Okay, Commissioner Lowry made the motion, for a second. Second by Commissioner Kerrigan. Any further discussion from the board? Anybody from the public?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, Christie McElroy, Port St. Joe. You said one of these resolutions was to do some sewer work, is that correct?
It'll be,
Is
yeah,
that-
That'll actually take place beforehand. The sewer work, we have a contract, with the company that's going to be coming in doing sewer work. We're going to get that done before the road paving comes in. There could be some delays before, but this specifically is for the paving itself for that.
Okay, but all right, but you're doing sewer work.
Yes.
Okay. Do you mind just sharing with the public what that work is? And there's a reason for my question.
okay, Jim or John, whoever.
I'll start it off and I'll let Mr. Grant elaborate a little more. The city received roughly $10 million for a project after Hurricane Michael. The CDBG-DR project consists of rehab work substantially and some that we have to replace. There is a section in Highway 98 in reference to the intersection of 71 and 98 back towards the Methodist Church that will have to be replaced. It's just in bad shape. But that's the section that'll be impacted the most on Highway 98. Mr. Grant, let me take it.
That work is scheduled right now, the contract will be on the ground November 14th, setting out MOT, November 15th will be actual construction. So, we hope to have that cleared by the end of the year.
And you know all the dips in the road that you have to go through.
Absolutely, Mayor.
Fix them.
I'm all on board with you fixing our sewer.
Yeah.
My only concern is what the county is doing with creating and building a new wastewater treatment plant that they went through Resilience Florida. My understanding, and I'm gonna send y'all all the documents that I received, that project is ongoing. And one of the things they put in there is that the city is on board with them building that wastewater treatment plant. So I agree, we all need to be working on our wastewater treatment, but I'm just wondering, did I miss a meeting? Did y'all have some sort of resolution to work with the county on their $28 million wastewater treatment plant?
No, ma'am, didn't really know anything about it.
Well,
Heard rumors.
when those documents are signed and it clearly says that the city is on board and that they hope to get some of our clients, meaning me,
Yeah,
that's a little unnerving to me if y'all haven't been a part of this. So I called 2 weeks ago and talked to the administrator that does the Resilience Florida. He went through it and he sent me all the documents. So what I'm gonna do is send you all those documents, because, and maybe the city engineer, since he's up and, Dewberry did the county's vulnerability study, maybe he can enlighten us a little bit more about the county's wastewater treatment plant that we're all supposed to go on to.
gotcha, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, anybody else in the public? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0. All righty, next one is resolution 2015-16, which also has to do with the FDOT and their requirements. So, I'll entertain a motion to approve that resolution. Commissioner Kerrigan made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Hoffman. Discussion from the board. Anybody from the public? All in favor? Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0. All right, next is city engineer, Mr. Baxley. Come forward, if you will, help us.
Good afternoon. You guys have the update in front of you. First item is the city government complex. We are complete with geotech report. We got results back on it next week, so we're moving forward in our design. Should be presenting the city with a 30% plan set in about 15 days. So we'll be moving on the schedule. We provided y'all some few weeks back. Now that we've got the geotech, we should be able to move fully forward with design on it. So at the 60% level, I think that's when we talked about starting to talk to the property owners about potential cleanup there. But we will have some pretty major permitting on this one, because we do have a wetland field in the back where the stormwater is going to go. So there's going to be ample time in waiting for those permits to come in, the contractor to clean up their site. Downtown utilities phase 2, met with Jim and John this morning. We're having some issues getting the final pay request cleaned up for this project. The project is done, minus the as-built survey, which has been ordered, but we are having some issues working through the billing from the contractor, and we're working on an email that's put that together to get the billing straight for the city. So we're looking to close that project out pretty soon as we get the as-built and as soon as we get the billing straight. It has been a struggle to close this project out.
It has.
HMGP grant, elevation of 12 lift stations. That project has started on 10/1, and there are no issues that I know of. Dewberry's not inspecting it, but I don't know of any issues at this point with the project. Downtown alleys drainage improvement. The survey is complete on that one, and design has begun. And the same with Avenue A. We are making a push, because we're doing both of those projects at the same time, unless the city informs me different. We are trying to complete Avenue A stormwater before we complete the drainage on alleyways.
Okay, questions? I do have one, maybe not a question, but a statement, based on what Ms. McElroy brought to our attention, that I have heard, rumors floating around, that if the county wants to cooperate with the city on a new wastewater plant of some sort, and you see areas that we both need to collaborate, I would hope you'd bring it to to us so we can help. I mean, it might be a good idea to have a new one, but we have a huge vested interest in the one we've got. We're spending a lot of money on it. And so it's just, a redundant system if that's the way it's going to be. So I would encourage all of us, if we know anything about this plant and the county's going ahead with it, with us on the application that we're all on board with it, we need to know a little bit more about it. So, that's my statement. I appreciate it. Anybody else got any questions?
No, they can bring up a good point. When we start looking at where, who's gonna pay all these different projects that take place, at the end of the day, we hope that you can get grants and stuff, but a lot of the final hit comes down on the citizens of Fort St. Joe. And at some point, we need to have communication together between the city and the county, and how we're a small rural county and a rural municipality within a small footprint, and sometimes we're fighting on the same projects to try to get solved. When from a state level, they may look at us as in, y'all need to figure y'all stuff out. We can't both get grants for the exact same things all the time. So I would think if the county is already putting it down that we're in support of this, and then there should be an open line of communication between the county and the city, so that we could at least discuss and figure out, a map to what's going to be best for the constituents for St. Joe and Gulf County.
Well, we could start with a letter of opposition. Because if they misspoke and said we're supporting something, which I'm not aware of supporting that. I agree with the mayor. If we want to start at step one, discuss a plan, it may be a benefit, but to be quoted as opposing or supporting something, maybe we need to set the record straight, send a letter both to the county and to all of the agencies, all the permitting agencies, resilience funding source, and tell them at this point in time, we've never made that statement that we support the county building a new wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that we've been dealing with an industrial wastewater plant since the paper mill was built, and it was handed to us. And yeah, it's not the most modern technology, and yeah, maybe we do need another one or a single one. But since we've invested all the money and we have all the infrastructure in place, there's a lot of conversation that's gonna need to be had, before we just let them move on to doing what they're doing. And, so Mr. Kerrigan said, we would hope to have an open line of communication with them, because it could be a benefit to everybody, but there's a whole lot of money that's got to be talked about before we just sit back and, let it happen. So, anyway, any more questions?
Well, we also have a brand new CFO. That money was dispersed when Jimmy Petronas was the CFO. So I had an opportunity to actually eat lunch the other day with the new CFO. His chief of staff lives in Chipley. And I invited them, actually, while we discussed different things during lunch, I invited them and his Doge team to come to the city of Fort St. Joe, go through all of our books. And if he can find some money that is there, then we will, deal with how to make it right. And then I also told him, as soon as they finish with going through the city's books, please spend a month or two, maybe a year, going through the county books. And I gave him a little background on the county. So hopefully our new CFO, Blaze, will for taking me up on that invite.
Maybe they're already still in the county.
Well, maybe they are, he's a man of action after all.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. You want to pass that on, go right ahead. Now, we're
I
saving,
understand, I've sent you the documents.
very good. Thank you.
Wastewater
Thank
treatment
you,
plant advanced and the vulnerability study.
Very good, thank you.
you.
Okay, old business, Jim?
Yes, sir. The first item we have is in reference to the current city projects on page 42 and 43. As indicated earlier, the downtown water line, we are at the closing stages of it, trying to close out the final pay request, so it is getting close. And we're getting ready to kick off two big projects, the elevation of the 12 lift stations and the large sewer rehab. Those are the big projects we got up.
Ask you a question because I know the folks that live around the one on DuPont, you probably have the same question. The elevation is gonna be based on the location, which means the base flood is X number at DuPont and the base flood on Garrison or whatever is X.
Correct.
So bottom line is, they're not all gonna be as high as the one on DuPont,
No, sir, not at
but
all.
they'll all be elevated to a requirement.
Correct, and most of these that we're speaking of, Mr. Anderson speaking of, are either on the Cape or in St. Joe Beach or Windwalk.
Okay,
These are the ones that were affected by Hurricane Michael.
okay, great.
Yes, the most vulnerable ones in Harbor's Way, but you are correct. Our code calls for 1 foot above bay level.
Right, yeah. Okay,
And I did also want to chime in that, which is a FEMA required.
After
And it's-
Hurricane Michael, we had to come in, you're exactly right. After Hurricane Michael, if you remember all the flood maps and everything that we thought was not correct, we came back and we realized FEMA was correct, so we had to adopt all those new flood maps in order to get money.
okay, any more questions? All righty, new business, Jim?
Yes, sir. Next item is offer to purchase property. This was at our last meeting. This is in reference to the Field of Dreams property. We did have a telecommunications company that was wanting to purchase roughly 3 ± acres. The last meeting we left was for staff to contact St. Joe Company to see if this was a viable option, which we got an email back that they didn't have a problem with that aspect of it. So it's back before you today to consider if you wanted to look at some way to move forward on the purchase.
I would, of course, I wasn't here last meeting, but I'm well aware of what's going on. And I would, I think legally, talking to you guys, we're probably gonna have to put it out to bid, even though I don't think we'll, it's just a formality. But if we did vote to sell it, I'm not gonna, favor voting for it unless the money we received, either from the folks that, had proposed it or anyone else, that money would be escrowed in an account to only forevermore be used for the Field of Dreams property. It could, money like this could be a great benefit to our future building that property, up with, matching money. You have 500,000 in the bank, you can go out to grants if you had to match it. We may really, expedite the process by, having that seed money that we could use to get big money that would allow us to do what needs to be done. So, but I do know, talking to you guys, I think you feel like we've got to put it out to bid.
Well, I feel the same way, Mr. Mayor, we do sell, the money should be put in the escrow and used for, facility out on Field of Dreams. And, I'm totally, with you on that, I want to go forward if we can't do it that.
Could we have him to speak up? We can't hear
Just
you.
soon we get through discussion, I'll let you come on. Oh,
Here,
We can't
Eric.
hear him. We can't hear
okay.
him.
Mike ain't on, sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you, that's makes sense.
Could you please repeat that, Commissioner Langston, what you just said?
What I said was, I think, I'll pick it back off what Mr. Mayor said, we do sell it, the $500,000 should be put in the escrow, should be used toward, building the facility out on Field of Dreams. And that was the only way that I would vote for it, it would be used that way.
And the location is directly across from Northwest Florida Child Development Center. So it really, to my thinking and looking at that, it doesn't really impact the project in the future, what we really like to do out there. So, but once again, we're gonna have to kick the can down the road a little bit more because we're gonna be required or subject ourselves to some liability down the road if we do a sole source without any kind of advertising. So, anyway, I'd like to entertain a motion to put it out to bid for, 30 days. That 30 days and strictly get offers. We won't have to go through a realtor, real estate. We can sell our own property without going through that. But we do need to see if there's other interest in that property, and we'll take the highest and best bid that we get. So I'd like to entertain a motion for that.
Do we need to specify though for what the property would be used for? No, I don't want to. I mean, we don't want, if you put it out for bid, you know, is somebody gonna try to come in and purchase the property and convert it to R3 and put in residential and stuff? I mean, what is our
What's all
what is
that?
our purpose for trying to go through this? What's the benefits to the community of having your, you know, our communication stuff being handled in a better way? But at the same time, keeping that facility, that part, we've got that land for. Hopefully one day soon, we can start moving forward, granting, and to have money to match it to where you can go after more grants. But is there a way we can specify that
What's it currently?
it needs to be stay zoned a particular way?
Right now, currently it's on recreation.
It's recreation.
So at this point in time, if you do any other type of use, they're gonna have to come in for a small scale plan amendment, just like we did for the piece of property earlier today.
But still, I mean, folks that bid on it have to have a reasonable expectation that they want to bid on it for a workforce housing project or something, that we may not allow that. So in our bid, we've got to be somewhat specific of, you know, what we're going to allow there.
I think I have the simple solution. Don't sell the property. That's all. Keep the property, and I'm gonna remind the five of us, we don't really own the property. The people that live and work above the city of Port St. Joe, that's their property.
That's
It was
correct.
given to them, not to us. It was given to them by the St. Joe Corporation. And I thank them. I beat up St. Joe pretty rough, you know, but hey, they do something good for the community. I praise their name. So thank you, St. Joe. And I thank them for giving us the leeway to make the decision, but I'm still a solid to selling city property. I just don't feel like, you know, I get elected for a 2-year term, which is ridiculous, and it should be 4 years. Even the city of Bonifay just went 4 years. I'm thinking, come on now. But we served 2 years, and I would hate to know that in a 2-year span, I voted in favor of taking away property that has been earmarked and donated for the kids of the community. And you know, I'm aggravated that it takes so long to get things done. But that's just the way city government seems to operate. But I think if we ever sell that land, will never, ever develop a new sports complex. That's my feeling, though.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but we have 65 acres and taking 3 acres out in the area that it is in and getting money that would maximize what our end goal is to have something nice for the kids in the community. Because we don't do something, it's gonna sit out there, we've gone, trees will be 30 feet high. It's never gonna happen till we make a bigger move than we've made in the past. We've had promises and that type thing, but that's another story for another day. But with this, we would have X number of dollars in a pot of money to build a sports complex. And I just, I don't think that little area there, and I really think the citizens that own it would be more appreciative of what we're doing to speed this process along than they would be worried about us selling three acres out of 65. That's not impacting the actual project itself because it's on the front end.
Well, but any property out of that 60 acres that's in the X flood zone, in my mind, directly impacts future development. Because out of the 60, if you remember, there's already a drawing of the trails, the ball fields,
Correct.
parking,
Correct.
all of that. And I remember looking at that map thinking, man, we don't really have no 60 acres. We have probably 30 acres. And of the 30 acres that's not wetland, we need all of it that's in the X flood zone. Now, if someone came and said, Scott, what about if we buy some of this property that you cannot use in the long plan? And they'll build it up to where they put the same building on the undesirable property if they can get permits for it. I would listen to that. Still gonna vote no, but I'd at least listen to it. So,
You're listening now.
and let me just say this. Even though I'm a solid no and I'm a vote no, you never ever take first offer in real estate. I mean, I hold a real estate license. If somebody comes in the realtor's office and offers you this amount of money, well, you counter it. So if y'all outvote me, at least remember that you never ever take first offer.
That's why we're gonna put it out for bid. I'd like to put it out for bid. Let's put it that way. But, I don't think we're ever gonna get anywhere if we don't go ahead and have a start somewhere. And, I think this is a start. This is a start. So with what Mr. Kerrigan said, we need some guidance on that.
Don't we know how you would word that to them? It's because who knows what they're gonna wanna do with it. You guys are gonna need to make that decision there, just like if these folks bought it, they're still gonna have to come in front of you to get the zoning changed.
Sure.
So I don't really know how you word that.
Well,
I mean, it'd have to be certain, I don't really know.
Well, you write it up in the sales agreement under the contingencies.
Well,
Contingencies are you're gonna use it for one of these categories.
but you guys it's still gonna have to go through the regular process.
Yeah.
what could you say, put it out to bid for a commercial use only?
Well, you wanna hamstring the person, it's just like you said, affordable housing, I mean, who knows, what they might want to do,
Yeah.
kind of hamstrings. I mean, I think you just put it out for bid in whoever, you're putting out a solicitation for offers that you don't necessarily have to take.
Yeah.
Right.
You say you're not bound to it. And then whoever was the highest, they could say, well, in the contract, like you're talking about, this is what we want to do with it, and we decide then. I don't know how you appease the people that made bid.
I got you.
And in the meantime, I think we can
our due diligence. I mean, like some of us, like myself, I wasn't on this board before. I have not been as informed as probably a lot of the citizens who've been working on it for years and years. To go back and look at that plan again, to look at exactly what was done, maybe even reach out to League of Cities and other municipalities that are doing these types of ballparks right now, to see what that cost is and see what kind of, how that seed money could be used to go after other grants to really kick that off. I mean, that's where our decision should be based on, I think. And let's do some due diligence and let's do some research on this. And in the meantime, if you want to reach out to do offers, that's fine, but we don't have to accept anything. We need to be doing our work on the other end though, for when if offers do come in, what is it we're talking about? What type of stuff? And either we agree with it or we don't.
Yeah, I mean, bid is probably the wrong word. Still,
Yeah.
solicitation for offers.
But just remember, what we decide today is the very near future can be changed 3 new people. Next year, the year after, the year after. I mean, the one decision of a city commission board cannot bind the future commissioners. So it all sounds good. Oh, we're gonna take this money and just sell this little piece. And then the next group comes in and says, well, you already sold part of it. Let's just get all the money. And then who suffers? We don't suffer. We're too old to play ball. But the kids and the grandkids, we've already went through a whole generation. You know, you think about it, when this idea first came up and the county was partnering with the city, at one point there was gonna be a YMCA group there. We've already lost a generation of kids, ball players. So I just don't think we need to get rid of that property.
Well, we got an opportunity, if the board wants to take the opportunity and let the attorney word a document that, yes, I just say bids, but you know, whatever the best wording is.
Yeah, maybe that'd be the best thing to do, is just vote to give me the direction to try and figure that out, how we word that.
Yeah.
We'll give you 6 months to come up with something.
But anyway, all right, first we need to, we need to have a motion and a vote on, do we, want to offer this property to the general public? No, that's anybody. And, have an offer of 30 days and, see what we get, see what we don't get. And then you're down to the point of the highest and best offer, and, which is another vote.
Now, I'm just curious as to, this is the 3rd offer while I've been here, the 3rd one. We had a developer out of Tallahassee that had connections in St. Joe come up with an idea to buy, I think, all of it.
Do the whole thing.
Yeah, they want to buy it all. And
Or we housing or some kind of housing.
It was
Remember
like,
Jim McKnight?
it was some kind of housing.
Right.
But we immediately said, no, that land is not for sale. Then we had a local resident who owns a gym and currently moving out of one building to the other. He came to the podium, wanted to buy enough of the property, I'm sure the best of the best. And that conversation didn't last 5 minutes. It was, no, we're keeping that property for the kids. And now I'm puzzled as to what has occurred. We're not bankrupt. We haven't gone up on taxes in any way. And now we're like having this discussion more than once about reversing everything we've said in the past and saying, yeah, look, we need that money. Well, if that was the argument, why didn't that argument get raised the last 2 offers? So,
It seems to me like probably probably one of the reasons, because this is such a low impact that they're bringing.
I feel that, the $500,000 that were offered, and, we've been waiting all this time just to get started on building the street. And, I feel that this is an opportunity, to put money up to go towards that. That's why it's not anything, taking anything from the kids, it's trying to bring something here for the kids to have. And if we continue to sit here and just wait and wait and wait, we'll be dead and gone before something we do about it.
And I'm not speaking for St. Joe Company, but would they say, if we went to them and said, we want to sell the 65 acres that you gave us for a city recreational complex, would they say, okay? Or would they say, no, we gave it to you for this? Now, they were okay with 3 acres at the beginning of the piece that we sent to them and asked their opinion. But I don't much think that, down the road, they're gonna allow it, but that's, you don't know what's in the future. As Commissioner Hoffman said, be a whole different board up here at some point in time. No telling what they will do, but, I just think we need to take an opportunity, because I wanna see that thing get kick-started, nothing else, have property, cleared off. Just show people we're trying to make progress on getting this project started for the kids and the community. And I just, we hadn't gotten anywhere for a generation, like Commissioner Hoffman says, so,
I know when this room has been packed the most in my short time sitting up here, it dealt with this very item, softball, baseball leagues. And I remember just sending a text saying, hey, we're gonna talk about the future of the recreation in Port St. Joe. And they were in this room, they were in that hallway, and they were outside that door listening. And that's only the group, when I told them, don't bring the whole team, just bring one person to voice your opinion. So really and truly what we should be running through our head, instead of dollars, we're elected to sit here and vote as a voice of the community. So I'm asking myself, what would the community, the people that live and work and pay the bill for us to be here today, what would they want us to do? And I have a hard time getting past, the idea that they would want us to sell the most prime piece of property or a part of the most prime piece out there to generate funding for later, with the understanding I could be gone next year. Me and Commissioner Lowry both, we could be gone next year. And the next 2 people that, let's say, come in, they may have the opinion of, well, I just want to sell it all. And I just don't think the community would support selling that prime piece of property. That's just and I'll close with that. I don't have anything else to say.
My main thing is I just look at the seed money that we could use and place it in an interest-bearing account, a CD or something, and only using it for the sports complex.
and you could tie that money up with some ordinance or something that the ordinance would have to be, and of course, 3 votes.
Maybe like a super majority or something, but
Yeah, 3 votes.
I don't think you could totally make it so that a future board couldn't decide to do something else.
Everything that we've done already.
That's true. You have the money in the waterfront set aside, you guys can vote to change that.
We knew.
I think we all kind of understand what's going on. At the end of the day, to make a good, smart business decision, public decision for the people, we need to have a plan. we need to know, okay, we've heard 20 years ago, it was gonna be what, $2 or $3 million to build a park? And now we hear word like it's gonna be $20 million to build a park. Let's put a plan out there. Let's actually figure out what it's gonna take. And then figure out, okay, how do we get the money? Is it through seed money? Is it through these different grants? Can we take that money and turn that money into this much money to look at how we can get something done in the first 25% of the phase, the second 25? We need to know what we're talking about. Rather than, I understand what you're saying. It'd be great to go out and just clear the field, but I think we need to have some actual costs nailed down and figure out what it is it's gonna take to fulfill, what that original Field of Dreams was supposed to be. And we need to find out not what it was 20 years ago or 10 or 15 years ago, what is it today? And I think we can probably move pretty quickly on that then. I mean, there's a lot of these parks being built in Florida right now. We need to reach out to them near us, and not necessarily near us. I mean, anywhere in the state of Florida, reach out to them and say, hey, what was your footprint like? What did it cost? What was the original plan? How did it deviate? And what's going to work best for here? So that we can figure out what the actual cost would be to build a really nice sports facility for the kids, which in turn, those types of parks that they build now generate money as well. I mean, they bring money back in. You used to have softball tournaments and baseball tournaments and different stuff to where you'll recapture some money back. But it's how do we get from here to getting started? So we could pull those original plans back up and see what tweaking can be done and see what we're even talking about. Because I personally don't know.
Nobody knows. We had a plan a long time ago, and, of course, time and money. You gotta have both to make it, any of our projects work. And, here we are, a generation, and no money in the budget for the Field of Dreams. I'm just saying that there's an opportunity, unless we wanna just pretty much put this at the very top priority of anything we're gonna do in the next few years. If we don't, then it's gonna be another generation. That's my only thoughts. And,
We got a lot of things that are top priority, City Hall complex,
yeah, and that's,
things like that.
I just, with this deal, whether it's these folks or somebody else, will it move us closer down the road to making something happen out there? And that's, I think all of us, including Commissioner Hoffman, want to see some action on the Field of Dreams. And if we don't have any money, we're not gonna have any action. So anyway, so if somebody wants to make a motion for the bid process or whatever, I'll entertain that motion. If not, then I think it's obviously gonna be dead in order.
I'll make a motion.
For going out to bid.
Well, dealing with accepting bids.
Okay. go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'll make a motion that Field of Dreams is property that the city will not entertain selling to any buyer or any offers at this time.
Okay. Is there a second for that?
You should at least second it for the discussion.
Yeah, and I will second it for the discussion. I think, again, we don't need to put the cart so in front of the horse. I think we have a lot of different capital things going on right now that are needed within our city. This is, to me, it's one of the top priorities. Because it was a top priority years back, and we need to bring it back up forward. we need to do our homework. We need to do the research, find out what the costs are, those type of things. And we can do that pretty quickly. And then we may find out that the city of Lakeland did a similar little project or whatever, and they partnered with somebody with a little piece of the land and they used it as seed money. That would make me lean towards making a decision today, saying, you know what? It's already been done. It wasn't an impact on what they were trying to do. It got them over the goal line to get that project done out there.
I agree.
I just,
All right, we're gonna have to have it engineered. We get the plan, we gotta have it engineered. What kind of guess for money do you think it costs for engineering the plan that we come up with like? You can't even go out and have any idea about the money to engineer it, and we don't have money in the budget to do that. So this is just another avenue of helping us move it along a little bit faster. So we escrow it, like Mr. Lowry said, a CD, interest-bearing account, whatever. It could be making money as it sits there and we doing our due diligence. So it's just, I know that, yeah. So anyway, any more discussion from the board on the motion that's on the floor? All right, anybody from the public?
Ranch, 1016 Marvin, and I'm probably the proponent of Field Range as much as anybody, and good comments there, from all of y'all. Mr. Hoffman, everything you said, I couldn't agree with you anymore. Now, let's get back to the money part, and I'm gonna go, so the same thing, the county is suing y'all individually right now. Mr. Hoffman, you brought it up, the interlocal agreement, they're suing y'all over this interlocal agreement here, individually for the annexation of the basic Magnesia property. So that being said, this interlocal agreement still stands between y'all and the county. They are suing y'all individually, it's over annexation. Now, I'm staying on the same topic. Action number 4, city and county shall agree to this annexation. So they were suing y'all individually. Is that correct? So the interlocal agreement still stands. So it's still good.
Oh, they're basing their lawsuit on it.
Okay, so y'all all can agree to that. That being number 4. Number 7 actually says, this is in 2005 when this was written. The county and the city, both parties, 13 items. And y'all know what item number 7 is. And I'm gonna read it for the public to hear. Because then you know what it says already. I shouldn't have to read it.
The public need to hear it.
City shall match county commission contribution toward the sports complex to a maximum $600,000. Y'all had $600,000 in there in 2005. The county
Read
had that.
that first sentence again for me.
City shall match county commission contribution toward sports complex up to a maximum of $600,000 each.
We'll match theirs, but
We'll match theirs.
if they don't put him forward.
Exactly. So what it said, Mr. Mayor, is this should have been developed in 2005 because the money was there. Now, I won't jump back to 2013 when this was brought up again. This is 15 years. Mr. Hopper, y'all brought up the history. So 15 years it went from that to item number 7. City and county shall continue to cooperate in the joint development complex. The TDC money was collected by the county. The money has been there. So let's don't give everybody in radio land out there that the money's not there. The county's got money buried over everywhere for this. It should have been developed. So let's be realistic about it. Now, I'll finish at that, but looking at the deed, I'm not a lawyer, and hope I never am one. St. Joe give y'all this, the city, it annexed into the city. For, like Mr. Hoffman has stressed to all of y'all up there, this deed is the law, just like this interlocal agreement is. That's the reason it's given to y'all. So y'all need to all go back and read the deed and get your lawyer to. This deed is the truth. Now,
what y'all gonna mess around and do if you ain't careful? Somebody's gonna beat y'all out of that land, the kids ain't gonna have nothing. But I'm gonna talk about the rest of it at the end. Appreciate your time.
It was Mike Rogers who, with Ashbrook, Commissioner Ashbrook, said that affordable housing. I sent y'all all an email because these gentlemen said that they've talked to George Gonzalez. George replied back to me, don't know anything about that. So Mr. Rogers had just gotten this LLC for that purpose the week before, and I sent that to y'all as well. In 2014, there was a vote at TDC. I was there as the EDC chair, asked for support for that fifth penny for the Field of Dreams. $0. After all these years, 2014, 11 years has gone to that purpose. You wanted COVID recovery funds. You got $1 million and you put it down at the old ball fields when it was clearly defined for the Field of Dreams. I'm afraid you are going to lose this property. You say verbally you've had a discussion with St. Joe Company. Until we all see that in writing.
We emailed it, we didn't have this discussion.
Okay, then you need to get that in writing because the deed is clear. If it's not for profit, that's what the deed says. This is for profit. Please get everything in writing. Let the attorney do his work. Listen to Mr. Kerrigan, get some ideas about what this is all going to cost, and you can go over to Southport and find out. This is X-zone property with infrastructure. Who wouldn't want it? Please do your work. It's for our sakes, Mayor. Don't try to sell us down the river.
I think you heard Commissioner Lowry talk about all the projects we have that we're just extremely tied up with. Now, it would be very beneficial to us if a citizens group could go out there and do some of this homework for us, bring it to us, and then we could review that and get started. But I can tell you sitting here right now, that's not gonna be a priority, and it's gonna be sitting out there for another generation. So, whether this will help or not, I don't know. But there's not been anybody in this city that want that complex more than me since day one.
Then find out.
And so, you've had your comments for now. Please come up, folks. Yeah. State your name and please sign in.
Yes, we did sign in. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the microphone.
Okay.
Hi, Denise Vickers with Keller Williams Success Realty. Our office is on Cecil Costin in Port St. Joe. My colleague, this is my client, Jeff Ray of PEA Engineering, and together we're representing Liberty Networks. Thank you all. Mayor, commissioners, members of the community. We just wanted to take a moment to address some of the conversation we heard. So first off, I want to underscore a couple of points that many of you made. This is absolutely seed money that will help you get the Field of Dreams going. That those matching funds that you can use to apply for state grants, that's how we envision this as we make this offer. Again, to Commissioner Lowry's point, this is a low impact. This isn't something that's going to create traffic and, it would be blended in, if you will, with the intended use of that parcel. To the point of where it would lie, we're absolutely negotiable on that. The plan that we submitted, and if you look at the wording, which was very intentional in our letter of intent, was to say, we hope to engage in a dialogue. If you want it somewhere else on that 57-acre parcel, that's absolutely up for discussion. In fact, if you need, if it helps, because you need us to provide, fill dirt to you be able to better utilize some of the portions of that acreage that are currently not usable. That's the spirit and that we come to you today to have these conversations in partnership. So don't look at that plan that we submitted as that's the part we want. It's anywhere that makes best sense for the city and the future plans for a sports complex. We feel that this actually complements what you want to do. And as we said in our letter of intent, and as I stand here before you and say again today, this is, something that the corporate entity that we're representing here today wants to be a community partner. I think you can count on them to continue to help with that plan to build a field of dreams beyond the initial purchase of 3 acres.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's good to know. I wasn't aware of that.
Yes, absolutely.
Sir, would you like to state your name and you get?
Yes,
3
thank you.
minutes.
I'm Jeff Bray with PEA Engineering out of Orlando, Florida. It's a great dialogue. I mean, it's a great discussion. We'd love for Liberty to be the guys that jumpstart Field of Dreams. We really like that. They're also willing to donate to the city $50,000 to get this rolling forward. We know that's not a guarantee of, hey, yeah, we'll say it. We like to do that, working with the city to try to get, if it's bidding, we can fully support whatever the process is to try to get that out. But we just want to help the community. We want to be a part of this. We're going to be here forever. It's 50 years plus. Most of us will be dead, but this footprint will be here for long after we're gone.
Good enough that you're willing to look at other pieces of it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And the one part that I forgot to mention or to underscore is just that this would provide ongoing ad valorem tax immediately. So continued revenue stream, with a very low impact, so there's high reward and very low impact in what we're proposing. And again, this is to, a telecommunications facility, for lack of a better term.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comments.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get what the motion was.
Commissioner Humphrey had a motion to sell the property at this time, I believe, seconded by.
Actually, my motion was not to sell the property at any time in the future. Not just this offer,
I mean, that's,
the motion is to never sell the property we call the Field of Dreams.
Okay.
we know that's not binding.
Oh,
You
no,
guys can
neither
change
is
your mind.
anything else.
Next meeting.
Exactly.
There was a second.
Second with discussion. Again, my discussion was, I think we need to figure out what it's gonna take to do these types of different things, because then at least we would know then to reach out to the public and stuff, say, okay, it's gonna cost $10 million to achieve this plan. Get public input, maybe get a group together that's not just us up here tonight, but do a workshop on it where everybody can kind of study it and look at it and say, okay, well, here's an avenue you could go, sell a portion or move it to a part where it doesn't impact the field. And how does that money then amplify to build the sports complex?
You can withdraw.
Yeah, and I can't. I don't want to sell the property today at all. No. I think we need to look at what's going to be best for that facility. And I think we need to come up with what type of a game plan we need to know. We need to do all of our homework to know what it is it's going to take, how we can get the money, if it's even possible. Use seed money to use that to give grants and stuff. And until we even know an amount or what even needs to be done or footprint of what that entire plan out there looks like, if I don't know. I need more time to look at it personally.
Well, man, it sounds like maybe you need to table.
I would definitely take it.
Well, you got a second on his motion?
Yes.
Right now.
You got to say,
So are you-
it stands or you,
I'll withdraw it and table it. I'll make a motion to table.
so
it.
you withdraw your second.
Withdraw the motion, and I'll second the new motion, which is to table the idea of selling this piece, because we have all that.
We'll never get all the facts, but I would say we'll keep it on the agenda every meeting till we make a firm decision. And with, the folks that do have brought the proposal before us, I would like to see them look at the property, the whole property with either an engineering drawing or what have you, to see if some of the wetlands that you discussed could be built up and they could build their facility, because they said they didn't care where on that they put.
Well, they take that $50,000 that they're offering to donate it, and buy a lot of dirt, build up a spot, maybe back in
Well,
the
that's
very
neither
back.
here nor there. But anyway, the motion is table it today, and you second the motion to table it.
Yes.
Okay, and we will have it on the agenda for every meeting till we make a decision.
You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, any further discussion?
I just wanna say that years and years, a few years ago, we've been through the same thing. Workshops, bring the people in, see what they want, look for money. And right now, we have an opportunity to move forward with something, put some money up. And, draw money from that to build a field of dreams, to get started with it. And now, we don't wanna do it, I don't understand it sometimes, but I would take it. I'm fine with it.
Well, I think what derailed the last, and I agree, you're 100% correct. There's been hundreds and hundreds of hours talking about this plan. But what, in my mind, in my opinion, what derailed the plan when it was with the county and the TDC and the city, what derailed it was when the county purchased the golf course. Because I feel 100% confident saying the money that we all think is just put over to the side for one day, that money's gone, and they bought a golf course.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, we'll, but the interlocal says that we'll match what the county puts forward. And that's the wording that gets my attention.
That wording
If they
is wrong. That was from the 2005.
Yeah.
It just says in the 2013 restated that we'll cooperate.
Shall.
And that's
What
right.
does that mean?
Well, yeah, shall, so
We shall cooperate.
we shall.
It doesn't say we shall give this amount of money.
Yeah.
It just says they'll
We
cooperate.
We shall match,
We'll
that's cooperate, so anyway, all in favor of the motion, aye. Same sign, motion passed, 5-0. We discuss this property long enough. Jim, next item. And it'll be on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yes, sir. The next item is going to be Public Works, Mayor. After our last meeting, city staff did meet with county staff. We did have a discussion with Mr. Blake Smallwood and Mr. Mark Cochran in reference to the county road patch invoices. The concern from the county was in making sure that they got good quality patches on there, which we agreed with them on that. We did realize they wanted good quality patches. Where we left it was with the price. You know, we realized, staff realizes that we need to have good quality road work done, but at the same time, we need to find some kind of price that we can afford. With that being said, they were gonna go back and look, see if there's any ways to try to quantify those numbers on there. But we haven't received anything back at this point in time, but we've got to find out a price that we can afford. You know, do we offer so much per patch from the city on there and say, okay, this is the amount of our allowance. If you want to do the work yourselves on there, it's great, but here's what allowance we can give the city for you. We haven't gotten that point yet, but
That's kind of the things we need to be thinking about. What you have before you today is you do have one invoice that we see. The other ones are just quotes, but you have a $19,000 invoice that we need to even make a decision.
Do we know what they're charging us per square foot of patch?
We do.
How much?
Yeah, we do. There's, if you look at,
On these invoices I'm talking about.
on these, no.
Yeah, I mean,
Do we have a,
Page 48.
well, those are, yeah, 48 is the quote, but, or is the invoice, I'm
That's
sorry.
an invoice, but it's still, you got to divide it out for each one of these
Yeah,
patches.
I
and
do
looking.
not think we have actual quotes on these three invoices.
And I think that's where we need to start. I mean, what are they charging us? Is it reasonable in the real world of patching holes that we have to do to repair infrastructure? I mean, they're dictating everything to us, and, I do think we got a lot of skin in the game here. And, this could get out of hand in a hurry if we don't work with the county and say, okay, this is a reasonable amount right here. Now, if you got a 3x3 hole in the road and they go 14 by 40, which they did in Oak Road for a small area patch, then, I mean, how do you say, I mean,
There were some quality concerns that we discussed, Jim and I with Clay and Mark. I want to say we did see some invoices that day for these three, but I can't confirm that for sure. But there was a quality issue on the price per square yard of asphalt, because that was discussed.
Yeah.
I would
And
just have
the
to go back.
MOT was a big thing we were looking at.
MOT,
too.
yeah, the quantity, it seems like it tripled as far as the cost per square yard. We have to go back there and look at that, again. But you don't know that we had the invoices that they did. I'm really not sure of this a couple of weeks ago. But it was discussed, and like I said, those two sticking points was the quantity per square yard and the MOT. And they were amenable to, to let us, perhaps choose some other Roberts and Roberts, providing that their typical details were made. So there was room for us to look at that in the future.
Let me ask, both of you, Jim, John. Do you recommend us moving forward with paying this first invoice? Because it's work already done and we have an obligation.
I would say based on what you have right there is a good faith effort to the county on there. Let's go ahead and pay this one. And let's figure out a price that's good for both of us. Because we know the work's gotta be done. We realize, the county may not want $1,000 package, but the city can't pay a $10,000.
Right.
So I think we pay this one with the recommendation and let's work together and figure out a price somewhere in between the.
And we've got to, I mean, look, they're mobilizing on every little spot, and we get charged $1,000 for them to mobilize when they can get 3 or 4 at one time and mobilize one time. There's one item right there that sticks out to me.
And it sounds like that's probably a plan of action.
Well, we gotta work, and, I mean, we already enough squabble with the county. We don't need to keep squabbling, but we wanna be treated fairly also. And so,
And we have to remember, I don't believe there was any discussion at all between the county and the city prior to this email a few months back that said, we're now going to change course and we will use exclusively Roberts and Roberts, and we'll send you the bill. Now, in my mind and in the business world, the person that has to pay the bill,
They're the ones getting.
they get to have a little say in who does the service and what's fair and not fair.
Yep.
Because if we pay this invoice, in my mind, we're saying, yeah, okay, we'll take that deal. And the deal that we would be signing off on is charge us whatever you want. Use whoever you want. And I'd like to see the city put out some specs as to, here's what we agreed to in future invoices. Here's the specs. If it's gonna exceed a certain amount, we at least have the opportunity to go out and inspect the damage and look at the area that they're wanting to bill us for. I mean, that's usually how business works, but this one really is interesting. They want to use their one exclusive person per company, and they want to, looks to me like, let that vendor
In
decide how much it's
our
gonna be.
meeting, they agreed that they, you know, they weren't stuck with using this particular contract for future. That, you know, if we could meet their typical details, you know, that they provided to us, then we could choose, you know, a contractor of our choosing, provided we have this detail. So again, there was good discussion. Now, this particular invoice, I think, happened at the staff level after the Board of County Commissioners, you know, did not communicate with the City Board of Commissioners and just said, this is what we're doing. And that's what happened. So we're stuck at the staff level trying to sort this out based on political decisions that were made for this one invoice.
All righty, we got an invoice, staff recommends we pay it. It's for 3 different patches, 3 different locations. So I'll entertain a motion to pay it.
So moved, Mr. Mayor, move forward with, staff recommendation. Pay this invoice.
Okay, there's a motion by Commissioner Lowry, is there a second?
I second it.
Commissioner Langston seconds. Further discussion from the board?
Yeah.
We heard enough that we need to know what we gotta do.
Right, I mean, I think we need to move forward, but we have to make sure
Straightforward.
that they understand we are reluctantly paying this. So that we can now move forward with the way this should have taken place the first time.
And that's why staff.
There needs to be detailed, I mean, if you're, there should be a specification sheet in every one of those to where you can look at it, and whether it's Roberts or another, Jason White asphalt or whoever it is, they can look at it and say, this is what it costs to get it.
But there's gotta be agreement of what
If
it
they have,
actually is.
if they have a preference to go with Roberts on that, then we'll just say, well, we'll pay you up to that other lowest bid, and we can all move forward.
So what you're saying is we have reserved the right to, have other quotes on the patch.
Well, I think they said they're up when they communicated that. That's what John said.
Okay.
But not this one. We didn't get that opportunity on this one.
No, sir.
We just got sent a bill.
Yeah.
Well, we're obligated to. It's our obligation.
It's been fixed, and it's this one's already moved on.
All righty, any more discussion from the board? Anybody from the public like to speak on the asphalt?
Actually, the county has brought this up in county several different months about, they're doing all the hard work and paying for these roads, and then the city goes and cuts them all up and et cetera. So it's been out there. What I don't understand is because me, Mr. Branch, all the others that have been sitting in the audience at county meetings, we knew about this. Why didn't the county pick up the phone and have a conversation when they first started talking about this back in the summer? Back before the summer, about how the city was cutting up. Why are they just sending you an invoice? Remind the public again about how much this invoice is for.
What, 19,500?
For three different patches.
Well, we're never gonna get rich like that.
No. Anybody else? All in favor, aye. Same sign, motion passed 5-0.
No.
Oh,
I didn't even get a chance to say no, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, I say no to
Be quick.
pay.
4-1. Okay, next item.
Yes, sir. The next item I have, Mayor, is we have 4 vehicles in our budget this current year to purchase, and there's 3 of them in front of you today. For your approval.
All right, in your budget, and, best deal we can get.
We're all state contract.
So, I entertain a motion to allow Public Works to purchase 3 vehicles under state contract. Mrs. Myrie made the motion, is there a second? Second by Mr. Carrick. Any more discussion from the board? Anybody in the audience? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed 5-0. Anything else, John?
No, sir, that's all.
All righty. Surface water.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I really don't have anything to do for the board today, for us, it's just normal operations.
Okay. Staffing levels?
They're needing 2 now.
Okay. All righty. Joe, what you got?
I don't have that much either, Mayor. I have normal operations as well. Solar units, diesel pumps, everything is working. I did want to provide an update with Sprayfield Zone 3. We're in the process of finally wrapping that up. We're going through the final steps with DEP. We will sample the well in the new zone next week, and we expect to get the all clear for DEPs.
Okay. Y'all recall what we spent on that, expanding that spray field? Not off the top of my head. All right, anything else, Joe? Any questions? Okay, so Mike?
Mayor, I put in a request with FEMA for an update on our reimbursement. That was just yesterday, so I didn't hear back, but certainly if I get any more update, I'll start an email and inform you. As Josh said, he's working to close out the SRF downtown waterline project. It's approximately a $2 million project. We've been reimbursed up to 1.5, so we still have about $500,000 to reimbursement on that. So as soon as we get that final invoice, we'll put in that to close it out. We have closed out our lead and copper grant. That was only $51,000, and we have been reimbursed on that one. And as John said, we're about to kick off on the $10 million project in earnest for the water and sewer lines. We've been reimbursed about $2 million on that one so far. And we've got a $500,000 in the works on that one as well. So we are working cash flow as best we can. And projects are ongoing and reimbursements are working. And the other 2, and we're coming to the final on the septic to sewer grants. We still have money available for anyone who has an existing home with an existing septic and has access to the public utility sewer system. We can bring them on board at a significant reduction, $500. Normally, the full fees are $6,800 for sewer, so we can help people to connect to the city sewer system. Those grants play out at the June to December of next year. So we have just 8 to 10 months left on those 2.
Mike, so on that particular subject, is that only homes within the city of Port St. Joe?
No, it's anywhere in our system. We have one grant that's specifically dedicated to the Beacon Hill area for that new system we just installed. We've connected about 80-some customers. We have about 20 that are in the pipeline still to connect. And we still have funds available in that one. And then we have another grant that covers anywhere else in our system, Cape, White City, or St. Joe, anywhere else in our system. That same deal applies. And again, we have approximately 80 or 90 people that have connected on that grant, and we still have significant funding to connect more of those customers.
So in that data software, like, could we go there today and hit exactly which properties have not connected?
We could definitely look at that on the property appraiser website. Anybody that has or there's a septic search system where you can check
online for septic. So you could identify customers that potentially, but what we've seen now is everybody that really wanted to connect has connected. Now we're only getting people that have septic systems that are failing, and they're looking at having to replace them, and then they're coming to us. So, but yes, you could certainly do a contact to notify.
It's just, if we could reach out.
We can certainly work on that.
Some, you know, a lot of times people just don't know.
Yeah.
Unless somebody sends some information to them saying, hey, you know,
Yeah, we can work
here's
on
an opportunity for you to switch.
A mailer.
It only costs you $6,500 for $500. You may find somebody at just the right time, which in turn is gonna help them.
Yes, because there's been turnover, people selling properties, and new owners don't relay that information all.
Yep.
So absolutely, yeah, yes, so that's a good idea, we can work on that. And that's all I had, Mayor.
Okay, any questions for Mike? Okay, code enforcement
Nothing additional today unless there's any questions.
and the new code enforcement officers, boots on the ground, working, fulfilling what we hope.
That's something that's not, totally for sure. You have no help, with the ditches and all, the grass and trees growing into the road. Have you came up with anything?
Yes, sir, we got some ideas on there. We do have a side hill mower. We talked about it in staff on Monday. We do have to make some repairs to it, but as soon as we get the repairs to it, we can utilize that piece of equipment to go up and down right in there.
Okay. That's what that,
As soon as we get it
near,
all.
Kenny Parker's house and Dennis, yeah. And I think Jim sent a letter or something to St. Joe Company, didn't you, about,
We talked to them, I'm not sure what code sent out or the discussion was on there, but we believe it's something we can take care of ourselves right away.
okay. Anything else in code, guys? All right, chief,
I have on the, agenda, request for approval of my drone off of state contract that will come out of a $25,000 grant that I received from the state of Florida in the drone replacement program.
so bottom line, it will cost the city,
Well, the grant was $25,000.
so we got some up.
And, I budgeted, cause this has been an ongoing grant process. I think I budgeted $5,900 just in case it went over, cause them things ain't cheap. And I think it's at, about $3,800 off this.
38 months.
28, 20. Is that right?
Yeah, 28, 586.
586, yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well,
I had it fresh
also-
in my
they're-
mind coming here.
They're also, charging tax on that.
Yeah, so.
We're taxing.
That'd be taken off.
So you're at 26,823, so you're only at 16.
Okay.
They need.
Yeah, I didn't realize they put
don't-
tax on there, cause
Yeah, they did.
they sent.
Of that amount,
I sent them.
that was $1,763.
So moved. All right, first, so Mr. Flowers had the motion, second by Mr. Langston. Any further discussion from the board? Anybody in the public, I talk about the drone. All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5. Okay, Ms. Pierce.
Yes, we have a couple items I'd like to share with you. We've requested an extension on the Cape San Blas and the Cape San Blas Lighthouse Keepers and the Centennial for finishing up documentation. We should have that request of extension shortly. It doesn't involve money, it's just the paperwork getting done for National Register. We also have submitted the deliverable 3 on the Cape San Blas, and it's currently being reviewed. Has been approved and moved on to finance for further processing. And on the Centennial Building, the payment request has been approved, and that has also been moved to financing for their final review before we get our reimbursement on both of them. So hopefully before long, we will have some funds from that. And under the PDRB membership, Mr. Burge, Mr. Early, and Mr. Keels have all agreed to serve for another 3-year term. I want you to know that that has been taken.
Appreciate our volunteers.
Yeah. So
If it's amenable to the board, then you would need to ratify that by voting on that if you want to stand up for a 3-year term.
Make a motion based on staff's recommendation to allow those 3 members to continue on.
So,
Hoffman made a motion, Mr. Langston second. Any discussion from the board? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0. And what about, the actual light? Are we making any progress on getting the light?
Rear Admiral Mays hopes to be here in January and bring the gentleman that helps him with this to assess the opportunity, the situation, and then work with Coast Guard on it. So hopefully come January, we'll have an update. It'll be very soon.
Right.
that's good. I've talked to a lot of people about it. They're excited about it. We can get that done.
We're working on it. It has been done in 1 or 2 other places. So hopefully they'll be amenable to our request.
Good deal. Okay.
Oh, I have
Anything
no
else,
further
Ms. Pierce?
Oh, one other thing, in the, United States Lighthouse log digest, the lighthouse here has been featured. Very nice article, lots of beautiful pictures. We don't have but 2 of their books right now. We have requested more, but it's very nice, and being US will be widely shared. If you want to stop by and look at what I have, I'm glad to let you look at it in the hall. Thank you.
All righty. Anything else from the board at this time? Citizen be heard, please come forward.
My name is John Ehrman. I'm with the Gulf County Citizens Coalition. Back on August 21st, over in the Board of County Commissioners boardroom, they held a state delegation meeting where Corey Simon and Jason Shove spoke, and at the end of the meeting, they came up with this idea that they plan to introduce a bill to the legislature to basically eliminate our port authority and replace it with a regional board, which would mean that there would be 5 members on this regional board, each, and Gadsden County, of course, Gulf County, Liberty County, and Franklin County would have members. So that would be 4, and then there would be an at-large member for this regional committee. So basically, Gulf County would have 1 vote out of 5, which means, the other counties could basically impose what they want on our city and county, which to me, is ridiculous. I mean, the impacts, would be tremendous for because they could actually impose a commercial port for Port St. Joe. So that would mean dredging the channel. They would have to establish the railroad, which would go from Franklin County, through Franklin County into Port St. Joe. So we're talking about a railroad back in Port St. Joe. Of course, the same problem that you've discussed about the floating dry dock would be impacted greatly, because then they'd still have to dredge through that paper mill site. So basically, I'm running out of time, so I better ask quick. Our coalition is asking that you send a strong letter to our delegation, Simon and Shove, and our county commissioners, that you don't want to go back to a commercial port, which would have devastating impact on our community, well, our city and our county. Just one last thing, that LNG plant that we were fighting, that could come back with a major port, because as they said, the conditions, no, Petra said, conditions could change where we would come back. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One item, from my little bit of research, and I don't think that bill has been completed yet, so it's hard to say exactly what it's gonna say, but, there will be 2 members from Port St. Joe. The one at-large member would be from Port St. Joe. So you're still on the short end of a 3-2 vote, but just want to correct that.
Yeah, they didn't say that at the time.
Yeah. Okay, come on, and you've already signed in, Mr. Okay, thank you.
Deborah Mays, 170 Palm Breeze Way. And basically what we are seeing is that Port St. Joe is going to be the sacrificial lamb for the good of the region. He called it a regional port. They said they want the port open, commercial cargo port, return of the railroad, period. There's no other discussion. And a lot of people say, well, this will never happen. Well, FDOT funds have happened before. They could get funding through there, plus the federal funds. Right now, there's maritime opportunity zones going up all around the country from the president, and we are qualified for that. So the port is ever going to happen here, it would be now. And Simon Schoaf, they even joked at the end of that legislative meeting. They took a fake vote, and they both voted aye, and they thought it was very funny, and it really kind of pissed me off, because I don't think there's any humor in taking away our voice and our future. We have 0 local control, 0 voice, 0 home rule. And Schoaf also said that when he grew up, the port was no big deal. Well, he doesn't realize that we're not talking about when he was a kid. We're talking about big commercial ships. The amount of sediments that they're going to move is more than all of the other dredging that has ever been done at that port combined. He also said there was no real evidence of any toxins out there. Well, he might not have seen any real evidence, because up until 2 or 3 months ago, we didn't get FDEP to admit that there was an error in the laboratory report. They now have admitted there's a transcriptional error that underreported dioxins by 1,000-fold. So that's there, and every single permit and every environmental assessment have all been based on this erroneous data. So my guess is that if enough powerful people want it and enough money to be made, those toxins won't matter, your tourism won't matter, the fisheries won't matter. Our little 2-stoplight town where, our lighthouse is the symbol will be replaced with a shipyard and a train yard the minute you come into town. So I would like you to vote not just to send this letter, but to send a strong letter, pledge from each of you that you're going to read the letter before it goes out. It's not just a bunch of therefore and whereas we voted, but that you really try to convince Jason Schoaf and Corey Simon that we need to control our future. And, Hoffman said earlier in the day, that you guys are the voice of the community. Well, this is probably the most important vote that I can see you taking as being a voice of the community, telling our state representatives, we gotta have control of them.
Okay, thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
Okay, come on up, Mr. Dove. State your name, make sure you sign in.
Sign in.
Right over there, Miss Charlotte, right there.
Anyway, I wanted to ask Mike, while ago, you were talking about the sewer, that $500 just for, grinder, right?
That's correct. Customers will still have the cost to
There you go.
install the grinder pump on their property and run power to it. So there are additional costs over and above the $500 that.
I didn't verify that.
Absolutely, that's correct.
I want to ask y'all heard anything about where the townhouses is in the city in Island View that faces the drop side RV
The
park.
the overlook.
Yeah. I call it something else.
Yeah.
Have y'all heard anything about them selling them?
Jim, you want to comment on that? And it was quite a while back, but I heard the rumor.
They're gonna make a drug rehab out of it.
I know. Yeah, anyway, go ahead.
He's got.
Yeah, first of the year, we did get an inquiry from the owners of the property on there that they wanted to consider doing some type of rehab, and it had different zoning requests on there. Since then, I believe Chief Richards actually talked to the owners and all that. So we were told that fell through, but we did pull up some information on there for the board. We're probably gonna bring to the board the next couple of meetings on there about sober houses. Sober houses is something that's been in place.
Yes.
Yeah, and basically what the legislature was for years, you couldn't do anything. If you had a residential use, sober houses were allowed. Now they've came back and said you can do a few little tweaks to them, meaning that you can do separation from them. You can't eliminate them altogether in the community, but you can put a little bit of teeth into it. So we're gonna bring something back, some proposed legislation back to the board in the next couple of weeks in there, see if we can kind of water it down. But all indications are right now that was looked at before is off the table. So we haven't heard anything since that was initially.
The drug rehab's off the table.
To sell of the property, they had asked for like 13 different potential uses on there. You know, it was everything from assisted facility to rehab to all those things on there. And to my understanding on there from what we were told, that deal went through. It did not.
Assisted facilities, you gotta have an elevator.
Well, and that's the part we indicated back to them was that, hey, look, even if it's an allowable use, you've got to meet the Florida building code to be able to have these type of facilities on there. And from my understanding, there's not an elevator in there even to begin with, so they have to conform to all the Florida building codes. So I think it's a moot subject at this point in time. But in the city of Port St. Joe, we do need to look at this in there, that within any city in the state of Florida, you can have them, but all you can do is put a little bit of criteria in there.
So Doug, what we're trying to do is craft some kind of ordinance and have a little bit of teeth in it, and that if they comply with everything that we require them to do, then they'll say, not worth it.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
You don't wanna kick this
I
can.
heard you had a meeting last night or tonight?
No, tonight.
Okay, well, you can pass that along that it's nothing from our side anyway.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Just for the record, I'm gonna go to that meeting tonight.
Okay, good. Thanks, Chief.
Can I present these forms? I'll be brief.
Give them Miss Charlotte. Well, she'll give them to us. You just give them.
Y'all might wanna look at them as,
Oh, okay.
Robert Branch, a continuation of last Tuesday's meeting that y'all had, and I've actually had a conversation with two more people over this. Y'all never did answer me last, so I'm gonna read what I had. I had a conversation with Sharon Gaskin about this name change of the Field of Dreams Road. Actually, and her question was, how can the county change the name of a road that the city that you own, that we own? It was the city that gave the authority and approval to apply and get the CDBG grant money. Ms. Gaskin spoke with the deacon of First Baptist Church that told her he knew nothing about it and the church did not want the name changed. I spoke with the same deacon of the First Baptist Church a week ago. He told me the same story, that the church did not want the name changed. He actually said it is causing the church a lot of trouble, especially with their delivery to get that church built. He also said there is already, wanted y'all to be aware of there is already a church avenue in Weehawken, same county, and that could cause more problems, especially with the 9/11 system that's been automated. And with him saying that, he actually said he spoke with Matt Herring that the church as well, the whole church did not want this name for the road changed. Matt Herring told him it's already a done deal. The county voted on it. Now, I never did get an answer from this board. Mr. Mayor, you was gone. And we spoke about the Field of Dreams earlier. Now, I'm on everything that, I got enough time to give you all the history on it. Some of y'all already know it. But when that road was built, it wasn't nothing but a fire break. The fire break, and actually the dollar store sitting there now, St. Joe Company used to name all their roads. We're talking those fire break 1, fire break 3, and it was fire break 8 or whatever. So what happened, Miss Gaskins, before this board got the grant, CBD grant, and it's all, the history is here from the first picture you have in 2007, when that was wooded, the Field of Dreams Road, 2010, when the city cleared it, right here, clear as a bell. City worker done it with county tractor. 2013, the next picture, y'all can see the road still over there, but the user created Field of Dreams Road is in the next picture. And up to the last one of 2024, where we at now, the progress, you can see where the dollar store is actually built right on top of the existing road. So, and like I said last week, all the grants come through this city is tied to that road. The next page shows Field of Dreams Avenue owner. The infrastructure is there. Now, I'll finish with this. Y'all have the information. I appreciate if y'all look at it. The last, going on what she said, 2012, y'all's financial statement to the IRS, if you want to take over ownership. Now, what it says, the construction is in progress as of September 30th, 2012, and it consists of 108,967 to the Field of Dreams complex. So that money was already spent there. That's what I talked about earlier, should have been developed. The next item is the Field of Dreams roadway. It was 2/3 finished at 242,000. That come through the city, a penny of it did come through the county. But how can they go around y'all and vote to change that name?
Jim, who owns the road?
All the indications are this is a county road. Just because you build a road doesn't necessarily mean that it's in your jurisdiction, you have the rights to it, to maintain it. There's a statutory requirement on there where one jurisdiction has to offer it, the other one has to accept it. I've never seen any of that information on there. All the indications are this road was in the county jurisdiction and it's county. I don't think the city has a dog in this fight.
So does North Florida Child Development in the city or the county?
That is actually in the city. The road portion that's extended in there is in county jurisdiction.
What about First Baptist property?
It's in the county.
County? And Dollar General's in the county, correct? Okay.
So,
It sounds like they have.
Because the contiguous property that we have that attaches to ours is the Jones Homestead Development. Which is in Myers Park. That property adjoins to the backside of Field of Dreams property and Sharon Gaskin. That's all contiguous, which is in the city limits. The front portion of Highway 98 is in the county.
Okay. So let's get back to what you said, and I agree with 50% of what you said, McCann. And I'm gonna try to be, I got a stack of papers. I've been researching this since the last meeting, every day, diligently working on this to try to help the city get that Field of Dreams developed. And with me saying that, next week, on what you said, I'm gonna bring y'all some more and to counter what you said. Now, I appreciate your, but here's my argument on that. I mentioned that St. Joe Timberland's property in 2005, 2008, all that wasn't up but a fire break. So the county does not own, that is, St. Joe is one to give her permission to put that road. The grant come through here. The county did not own that property. The county, no whatsoever form did the county own that property. That was St. Joe Timberland. So that moves to what you said.
No, sir, it don't, because that would be an agreement between the private owner and the county. I don't know if there was an agreement done or not, but this issue is between between the county and St. Joe Company was the private owner of
Okay.
the property, which is in the county jurisdiction. I don't think the city has it though.
And well, I'll finish with this. The only paper I didn't bring, but I've got it printed out. I didn't want to say this, but Mr. Jim McKnight is the EDC director. And I'm gonna show you, if you'll go back to December 2010, this is what was said. North Florida was having a lot of trouble getting the money. The county helped them, the city helped them with the roads, okay? It's all good. Everybody's coming and getting that free infrastructure. Now, what was said when they was stalled there, y'all have some of this, what I'm talking about, there was a lot of stall and all that, everything just shut down. And the road that she had built, guess what happened? It come a flood rain and it washed all the clay off of it. And what happened? Then we had to come back up and put $6,000 more just in the minutes to fix that road. The county didn't come up and do it, the city did. We done it. I present it now to finish what I'm saying. That Jim McKnight, who does he work for? The city or the county, or does he work for both? County. Okay, this is what he said. If everything bad happens and the Miss Cassie don't get her daycare because the money's not there, guess what he said then? The city gives them a free road. Well, she got the daycare. Guess all it was developed for that. It was developed for the county. That road was developed for the daycare, the field of drainage, the roadway, and the infrastructure was there. Everybody else, just like these people coming in after to fight over the crumbs, the ex-floods on them. So you need to get your lawyer to research what I'm doing, and I'm gonna give him that piece of paper to make him earn his
Thank you,
pay.
Robert.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay.
I think the main thing, Mayor Christie McElroy, is the fact that we put the money in, and Mr. Gaskin put the money in for that road. We put in the infrastructure. The taxpayers put in the infrastructure by, paying taxes and these grants, and it was annexed in. It was part of the 75 acres that were deeded to us. We have maintained and taken care of that road. That gives you property rights for what you have invested in that road, plain and simple. So the last thing I want to kind of tag on is, Mayor, could you please put your perspective, like you did several meetings ago, about the floating dry dock? And the reason I ask that is because I've done a lot of research. The noise, the water pollution, the air pollution, everything that goes along with that would be detrimental to our bay and to a community of our size. And that doesn't even include the traffic we would get. So I've put a lot of time in doing research on floating dry docks. I also have some information about Ocean Engineering and their big contract that they have, which is, I think, $50 million. And they've set up shop over in Panama City. And my concern is the marriage of all this together, and Ocean Engineering is a huge international firm, and they also deal in different forms of power, including fossil fuels, etc. So I'd like to know if you know anything about that.
I have not heard that at all.
I will send you all that information.
Yeah, I stand firm on, hold on a minute now. You guys have already talked. We're gonna give somebody else a chance. Please sit down and let me respond, please. Okay. It's a floating dry dock is just another thing that the county sprung on us, very similar to the road pavement thing that we didn't know anything about. We haven't been asked to come to that table at all, and it would be no economic benefit to the city, the pollution, the traffic. You're rolling the dice gambling that something like that is gonna help, and it'll end up hurting the one industry we have, or the two industries, which is tourism and fishing. And so I just don't get, where they're, but yeah, I know there's a lot of pressure out there between, Eastern and, it appears the only thing will benefit Eastern, but that's another story for another day. But I'm against it. I was against it 5 years ago and I'm against it today. So anyway, okay, Charles,
I just
got 3 minutes.
3 minutes. I just want to say real quick, because I have, did a little research. I went to the county, talked to the clerks, and clerk looked it up and said that the county does not have any deed that shows that the county owns the road. Now, I understand, because where the road is located, it's in the county. But for them to have, right what she said, because she showed where the city had a easement for the road that they had gave them an easement. And she said that that's the only thing they had. She said, so if anything would have had happened, the city would have had to give that to the county. Well, she said that didn't happen. Now, the point of it, like I said, the thing of it is what she was saying, because the fact that, only thing they got on record. And I asked her, I said, well, wouldn't you have if it was a county road? She said, somebody would have had to give the road to the county, whether it was the landowner or whether it was, but all she said, now, like I told her, I knew that a lot of the stuff for the grants and things had happened. But my thing is, they still saying, from what I'm getting from out there, that the county does not have a deed. So this is something that might need to be, and I understand where you guys at, because nobody want a road, because that means you got to maintain, you got to take care, you got to do all this other stuff. I understand that, but the fact of it is, if they don't have that right, then they shouldn't have a right to change the name. And then, like I said, at the bigger picture, to me, the Field of Dream was something that was supposed to be something that we was excited about doing. And like I said, by you taking that name from the Field of Dream, the road from the Field of Dream, now when if it do come to pass, then you're gonna have a road that calls something else, but it's not gonna be connected to the vision which it was meant to be when it first done it.
Thank you, sir. And, let's see, I see one more that hasn't had a chance to speak. Chester, are you going to be speaking today? Are you okay? All right. First item, Mr. Langston, you guys. Covered it, man. Okay. Mr. Hoffman.
I'm going to make sure. What did we decide about? I know we talked about a letter to Post County building a new wastewater treatment plant.
You brought that up.
Yeah, I think we should,
We
continue.
do need to look at that. I do agree with that.
Yeah, and maybe a letter to Post Airport at the same time. That's all I have.
Yeah, okay. One thing I've got, a couple of good things. Appreciate, what the chamber does, music festivals, scholar festivals, Blues on Reed, all those things to bring attention to our city and bring, visitors here and spend money in our businesses. This weekend, or last week, was Songwriter Festival, 15 years of that. Tremendous, amount of folks from out of town were here for that. And, I think it's all good. And you gotta keep in mind, all these are volunteers. There's that one person, we have an executive director of chamber, but everybody else is volunteer. And, it's a wonderful thing that folks in our city, do stand up. And BDRB was another example of that today. So, all good. So we had a good long meeting, a lot of good discussion. So we'll stand adjourned.